What's going on, everyone? It's Sheena, aka Sheenapreneur, your favorite veteran. I want to talk to you all today about how to avoid setbacks by diversifying your portfolio. So let's get right into it. Okay, so this is going to be quick. I just want to give you guys a little bit of hope, a little bit of structure when it comes to, figuring out what you want to do, even if you're just going into business and you're not necessarily doing government contracting, or you're pivoting from government contracting more into the commercial sector. So I had my attorneys on, Carl Gibo and Letitia, and they explained how they're, since they had clients that do government contracting or federal government contracting, and that there's some of their contracts have been canceled, that they've had to kind of forward think. So throughout this video, I kind of want everyone, as I'm speaking, to forward think about some of the things that you can do a little bit differently. Even if you're working a job right now and you're just getting into business, like you don't understand government contracting quite yet, or maybe you're just doing federal, maybe you're just doing local, maybe you're just doing corporate, and you don't quite understand how everything works, but you want to go into business, for example. You always want to diversify. So one of the things that I did, throughout my whole life is have a whole bunch of different revenue sources coming in. Now that can be good or bad, just depends on what those things are. Now you don't want to over diversify to where some of the things that you're spending time and energy on are not yielding you a profit. They're not yielding you anything but lack of time and aggravation. And so you want to ensure that you are diversifying responsibly. Okay. One of the things you should think about is, what do I actually want to do? And you could already have some things on your mind because you work at a particular job that you want to stay in that realm, and when you retire or when you get out of the military or you're going to quit that job, you want to kind of stay in that industry since you've already been trained, hopefully trained for free through your job or through the military or whatever the case may be, and you want to go into that industry. Then you can think, okay, I'm going to go into that field, but also I'm really good at this other thing, so I'm going to try to either do one of the other, or if it's something that's a little easier to do, you could maybe start both at the same time. Now I know people that have been watching me for a while, you're like, Sheena, you always say don't do a whole bunch of different things. That's very true. But if it's something that you already do and you're thinking, I'm going to be, quitting my job or retiring soon, I could probably start this at a low level and then also have a business doing this other thing. So right now, with the way that the government is working, we don't really know from day to day what's going to change, what's going to how you're going to pivot, how you're going to have to pivot. And so even those who had a very secure job working in the government for the longest, no one's safe right now. And so you have to start thinking about, what are some other ways that I can get, access to revenue, access to capital, access to more money. Okay. Some things are not going to make sense. Like, it may not be advantageous for you to drive Uber or do DoorDash, but it may be advantageous for you to sell cups on Etsy. And those who've been following me for a while, I always talk about selling cups on Etsy. There's no disrespect there. That may be something that you've already been doing. You make cups for your local community and you're like, I can sell these, or you can sell plates, or you can sell banana pudding cups or something like that. And it's something that doesn't take a lot of your time and energy, and you can make some money doing those things, selling stuff around your house. Now, this is not like a hustling video. I don't want to get into that, but it's really about creating those multiple streams just in case something else may change. One of the things that has happened to multiple government contractors, even those who are up in the 8 and 9 figure realm, is they have one customer who buys a lot of what they sell. And so that can be kind of dangerous, especially when you're talking about those who are in the 8A program. The 8A program has changed in recent years from the recording of this video, but still people are able to get pretty large contracts and doing business with the same companies, the same agencies for years and years and years. And even after they graduate out of the 8A program, they may still do work with this particular agency depending on what they sell or what service they provide. And so, that your biggest customer may have cut their funding just recently, or they may have to use another contractor because, there's another contractor like me who's going to say, this company, ABC company, has been providing services for Department of the Army in this location for 20 years. What's up? Like, let somebody else get a piece of the pie. And so with that being said, your biggest customer may have their, hands tied to where they have to offer that opportunity to some other contractor. And so now, boom, you may have been making 10 million and now you're down to 5 because that was your biggest, or even down to 4 and that was your biggest client. I've had many people, that have given testimonies at different organizations that I have participated in as a student, like VIP, Veterans Institute for Procurement, and EBV, Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans. I've had many people say, they have gone from, their business was growing and then it just plummeted, the business jumped off a cliff, and they went from 50 million down to 9 million. And so people are like, well, shoot, 9 million is still good, but it's not good when you were at 50 million. That's a hard pill to swallow. And so, sympathetically, I can understand how that can be just a gut punch. If you just take that at a smaller scale where you were making 900,000, even 500,000, and you go down to 50,000, you're like, whoo, there's a lot of people getting laid off and that type of thing. And it's a very, very stressful thing. So you want to diversify as much as you can. And that diversifying could easily be, if you're only doing federal, to creep over to doing local contracts. If you're only doing local, creep over to corporate contracts. There are still corporate agencies, still state agencies, and still federal agencies who are still paying contractors. So you don't want to get into the thought process of thinking that these companies are not going to award any work. And then now you have pigeonholed yourself into a place where you are only serving one client because you're just so scared that they're going to let you go, or you're so scared to go out there into other contracts. Then you are setting yourself up to be dropped by this one client that you have. So you want to avoid that pitfall of not diversifying because you're afraid. You want to expand as much as possible. Now, you want to do joint ventures. You want to do teaming. You want to build cohorts and conglomerates. You want to go to more events, put yourself out there. It's kind of like, I know I keep saying in some of my videos, and even to people personally, that this is not exactly like COVID, but it reminds me of COVID, of how we had to pivot. I think I had 3 by COVID. I had 3 or 4 5 contracts awarded by COVID. And so, we were rocking and rolling. I was a real business when COVID started, and we were kind of still new. And then it was like, oh snap, we have to pivot. But I think because we were new, we were able to pivot a little bit easier. So you just want to make sure that you're not getting stuck into, let me just stay over here and keep my mouth shut just in case. It's not funny. I don't want to say anything. I don't want to rock the boat. And then you end up getting dropped by that client, and now you have nothing. And we don't want that. We want to always be moving, always be pivoting, right? Also with that, you want to ensure that you are communicating with your contracting officer or the buyer or whomever, even accounts payable. Like, hey, if anybody should know what's going on, is you. What's going on? Is there a problem with pay? Did you all lose any funding? I need to know, because you're the one who actually cuts the check. Everyone else is an approver, but the accounts payable pays the money. They're the ones that are saying, yes, this can be done, or no, it cannot be done. So you want to even contact the accounts payable person to ask, what's up with the funding? Especially with some of these corporate agencies, because, well, with all the agencies really, but with corporate agencies, those are companies just like you and me. So they may have lost a lot of funding from the government that they had, and then now they have to scramble on how they're going to fix that. Whereas the government usually can pull money from somewhere if someone has already provided a service. Because really under the FAR, you have to be paid, but under the corporate side, not that you don't have to be paid, but it's more like a business to business transaction. So take that for however you want to take it, but don't want to belabor this. Wanted to give you just like a quick little guidance on how to avoid some of the pitfalls by diversifying. So of course, my course GovCon Now teaches you about federal contracting, local contracting, and corporate contracting. I have something in there for my veterans especially, and I have my GovCon Moneymakers community where people are sharing information and having meetups, and just an all-around great community to network and grow. So until next time, it is your favorite veteran.